to be banned, and the Syndra is removed as well by Schalke.
Is it going to be banned away by Schalke, or are they going to leave it up? Because you would imagine G2 will look to first pick that champ if it is available.
And they've got rid of the counter to it from yesterday.
That's very true. That's very, very true, Minik.
We'll see where Schalke decide to go with their final ban. Of course, brought Lorox in last week, brought Inax in this week to try and bolster their losing record so far, and with the LeBlanc as the final ban, it looks like Aphelios will be first pick here for G2. Right.
So Schalke, you would imagine that Gragas will have to be somewhere on the priority list. I don't want to see any more first pick sets, man. The hover of the Sona coming out from Odo Omni right now. Wow, first pick Ezreal.
I guess it's a very safe bottom lane.
I mean, so what we've been seeing is a huge amount of Ezreal into Aphelios, right? So from the perspective of the pros, they clearly consider this matchup to at least be serviceable for the Ezreal. And I mean, what we've seen is that Aphelios doesn't stomp this lane by any means, and Ezreal is a pretty safe laner, has a big, solid mid-game spike, he scales pretty well. I just don't think we've seen a lot of great supports paired up with it. I'm a big fan of Rakan. We saw it banned in game 1 of the day, but I think Rakan just offers so much to Ez because you can take advantage of the long-range E that even if Ezreal jumps away, you can still jump to him and back from him after trying to set up these engages. So I still think it's a really valuable matchup, and I'd quite like to see Schalke put some priority on it. Then they can target ban things like the Thresh away from G2, but I wonder if that's the direction they're even going to go towards, because G2 right now, with the Lee Sin locked in, you would imagine that an AD mid lane is not going to be the highest priority. Oh, they're actually going to go for the Nautilus. I wonder if they were thinking about something like an early Rakan to come out from the side of Schalke as well.
Well, Rakan has been banned both games in that second rotation against the Ezreal team. So teams are obviously on the same wavelength as you, saying that Ezreal-Rakan is a very good combo. We'll see if Schalke want to lock it in here. Although Rakan can sometimes struggle into Nautilus because of that point-and-click auto-attack CC. And instead, Schalke are going to say, okay, we'll take the Aatrox. Can go to top, could of course go to Abadage in the mid lane.
So of course it's still a safe blind. Something that we haven't seen a lot recently in the LEC is Mordekaiser. I think Mordekaiser top can be really good into the Aatrox. Whether it be removing him from the team fight or just in lane, I think Mordekaiser scales really well and also does very well in terms of the 1v1. Schalke looking to ban away some of Wonder's well-known top lane counter picks to answer the Aatrox. The Aurelia is going to be the first one. I think G2 should consider taking Rakan off the board. Morgana is another one that you can think about. Braum, I think like the pairing with Ezreal can be solid because of course you can use the Q to apply the on-hit, which also helps stack up the Winter's Bite.
We are going to see Wonder go to something new this game in the top lane, we expect, unless he goes back to the Sona. With Soraka banned away and Aatrox already picked. Although, so the thing about his Sona yesterday was he ran the teleport and can't remember what keystone he ran, but usually running Dark Harvest Ignite is what you want to run.
He ran Airy.
He ran Airy. So
he
Dark
also
Harvest
didn't
Ignite,
roam a lot, which was super weird. Yeah, I don't think he played the Sona top super well yesterday, but I think that just for the record, I don't think that draft yesterday was troll. I actually thought like it was a solid draft. I think they just played really poorly.
We'll see if they can shore things up today. Of course, G2, as they were saying on the analyst desk, still probably the best team in our league. Thresh is the next ban, one of Dream's favorite picks. So they are kind of pushing Schalke towards this Rakan pick.
Let's see if they go for it. You would imagine that Schalke would save the mid lane counter for last. Would it be a Rakan? Will it be a blind pick mid? Zoe is obviously one of the safest blind mids that you could go for. Will they look for a different support?
They're hovering Rakan, Bedius. And they're going to lock it in. So good prediction on that. Ezreal, Rakan of a safe bottom lane. Rakan
but it also just,
around.
I like this one because it actually gives you setup. You can actually play towards the Ezreal lane now. And obviously against a Nautilus, it's harder. But then you put some Moby Boots on the Rakan, you roam around with the Gragas, and you actually have Engage, which makes it easier. Because then all the responsibility doesn't fall on top of a squishy Gragas to act as your frontline fight starter later on into the game.
Rise will be the next pick. Expect that to go to Perks in the mid lane. It's the second time he's played that this split, if it is. And finally, looking at the top lane. Mickey trolling a little bit. We heard on mic chat last week. He hovers the Z when people say set just to mess with his team, but no concerned faces there. Expect it to be the set, but instead...
Hovers, man. Hovers. Can't trust them.
Instead, it's Ornn.
Oh, they
which
put him on
explains the
tank
Brawn
duty.
ban.
They put him on tank duty, yeah. You're definitely right. The Brawn ban now makes a lot more sense. But Rise is also a very safe signature pick for perks. Used to have a song about it, in fact. I think Cassio would be a good answer if Schalke want to try and find something that can match the Rise. In terms of the side lane, it's perhaps not one of the strongest, but in terms of scaling and in terms of the lane matchup, I think Cassio is a very good pick. And it seems like Schalke have agreed with me with a lot of their draft choices. So I think the draft from Schalke is very solid. I would say they have a losing 2v2 in the early game, just because Lee Sin and Rise is pretty powerful. But depending on who gets the initiation can swing that matchup in either way. Like Cassio definitely has solid damage early on. I think we can expect Odoamne to be able to have push in the top side, whereas G2 should have push in the bot side, and mid will be, well, it's usually pretty cast favored, but of course the Rise wave clear early on will kind of tilt it towards the Rise. You just have to be very careful, and we'll talk a little bit more about that matchup once we actually get into the game, because there are some cool intricacies about it. But yeah, I think that G2 have gone for a lot more stable of a draft, very good scaling, have a very strong presence on the side lane, but Schalke also have a lot of options to force a lot of plays in the mid game, and I think that their scaling isn't too bad either. So I think that if both these teams were of comparable skill, the expectations were this could be a pretty close game.
Yep.
So the question is, will Schalke, now that Inax has had a game on stage, will they be able to stack up against a G2 that's feeling focused after their defeat yesterday?
We'll have to wait and see. Of course, G2 coming off their first loss of the split against Misfits. A lot of it was down to Caps. Pretty hard inting in the bottom lane on Aphelios. Now Dreams has locked in the Rakan, the bane of Caps in that game yesterday against Misfits. But the expectation has to be, as you say, Vedius, that with the team's records coming into today and with the relative strength of the squads, it should be G2 with their 7th win of the split. Do hear some chants for the Royal Blues, yeah.
They want to show their support. See if Schalke can get their first win on the board.
Oh. Some G2 fans as well. I think we have a fan for every team here in the LEC in the audience today. A few more GT fans than Schalke fans, I'm going to say. I do still want experimentation with chants. Every team seems to have their one chant. I just want a few more. Like G2 could have something about a samurai.
I'm not a fan of that experimentation.
I'm a fan of the experimentation. The chant itself
maybe
could use refinement.
some work needs to be done there, audience, but I respect your attempt. All right, let's have a look at the early game. Any crazy shenanigans? No early sweepers coming out from any of the junglers or the support, so I don't expect any early invades. Looks like the Jankos is going to be starting on the top side, unless he's going to go for a solo. Both junglers actually going to be doing the same thing, which means that both junglers, well, they have a few options. Jankos could do a full clear on his top side and then path towards bot, but I imagine that he's going to want to grab his red buff. That's where he's going to start on the blue. I like that he takes away the blast cone as well, so the risk of a delayed invade doesn't ruin his day. But it looks like Lurox is also going to path towards the bot side of the map, and I think Odoamne can rely on the fact that he's going to have push in this 1v1 on the top side. What we need to keep our eyes on is, I think Jankos wants to cover for Caps and Mickey in the 2 versus 2, whereas Lurox can look for an actual gank in the bot side of the map, especially if they can burn Caps' flash early. We know that he's a player that likes to be quite aggressive. He broke some records yesterday.
Yes, he did. He didn't have the best of performances. Mickey's going to land an auto attack in here, but let's have a look at how Caps did do early on against Misfits yesterday. 7 deaths at 15, highest in the league. Is behind 38 CST at 15 minutes as well, and 1.5 goal behind by himself. That's not the team's goal deficit. That is purely Caps' goal deficit yesterday.
Yes. So, I mean, if we haven't highlighted enough, Caps, not a great game yesterday. But moving into today, we're going to focus more on the positives. We're going to see how he shapes up, see if Schalke can find the same punishes that Misfits were able to find yesterday. We can see the Gragas doing a very typical full side top clear with the experience changes to Krugs. It's kind of what you expect now. If you can do them, then you're kind of encouraged to do them. Meanwhile, Jankos already taking his red buff. Also, what I'm going to do is Raptors for now. Going to focus on trying to get some vision around the river. Going to move with perks, given that he does have that early priority because of the wave clear.
Takes away the blast cone, making it a bit more difficult for
dive. Very dangerous.
I mean, Inax doesn't have heal. Dreams only level 2. Here we go. Here comes the dive. Jankos and Perks already on the way down. Teleport used immediately. The root's coming out. The moonshot. Cap's doing a lot of damage. Mickey's the first to fall. And from one bot laner to another, it seems to be switching around on G2.
But I can't blame Mickey for that because I think that he had to be the one to tank up the tower initially. He applied the aftershock and he did what he could, but he doesn't use his flash early on. They do get the teleport out from Abadage, but we said it was risky, and this is why. Normally, when you're setting up for that dive, you want to either be the level 3, have that level advantage. Caps now.
Has to flash. Have to flash that.
Yeah, normally when you set up for that dive, you want to try and have a level advantage, or you want the enemy bot lane to be level 1. Of course, Inax and Dreams, both level 2. The TPs were available. Lurox was pathing down that way. So Schalke punished very effectively, and now the first blood sits on the Ezreal. And G2 already find themselves at a 1k gold deficit.
Okay, so Inax is just backing away, has no mana. This could be a pretty easy blue steal for G2. Mickey coming around the corner, no flash. Oh, he has got flash, but no ignite. Jankos sticking on the blue instead. Now, Ezreal has got the teleport, but it looks like Schalke say, okay, we'll give up the blue. We've got an early lead in that bottom lane. Perks trading onto Abadaga in the middle lane, but not going to be able to. Ooh, does get a lot more damage off. Abadaga is very greedy. This should be dead. Abadaga, you got a flash. You got a flash. Oh, he dodges everything. Oh, he dodges everything, and the teleport comes in. Perks, no flash on him. Inax misses with the essence splash, but finds the mark with the autos. Schalke 2 on the board at 4 minutes.
Wow, great patience being shown there by Abadage. I thought that he would have to flash that, but he knew that Perks had no flash available to him. And that meant that with the arrival of Inax, he could just chase him down. He eat in aggressively, and he secures himself a kill as well. So now that's 2-0 for the Ezreal. And Inax having a very different performance to what he had yesterday. Of course, G2 kind of handing it to him on a silver platter.
He's got Sheen already. We're 5 minutes in the game, and he's got an aggressive item in that bottom lane. Perks loses a huge amount of experience in the mid lane. This way, pushing in Caps and Mickey trying to keep it outside the tower. But you can see Lurox coming in just to say, okay, we don't want this frozen here. We don't want Inax and Dreams to have to overextend, so they can clear this out and push the wave back off that turret.
Now, it's important to recognize that because Inax used his TP in mid, Caps actually set up the wave in a really good spot where he got a good freeze. And of course, by bringing Lurox down, they could get that shove in. But you can see the CS difference now starting to develop in the bot lane. And this is a big experience advantage that Caps is going to gain. So even though Inax sits with 2 kills and the completed Sheen, he's actually in a pretty healthy spot, experience-wise at the very least.
Jankos going in onto Abadaga in the mid lane, of course. Still
He's gonna die.
Does he just die?
Yeah.
Oh, the flash! Abadaga, one more twin bangs would be enough, but he can't quite find it, and the poison isn't enough.
Wait, I'm
so close.
Gonna very quickly.
Oh, Mickey's been caught, but there's no time to do anything else. Mickey, he's got flash. He has to jump across the wall here. And now Schalke could just go for the dragon if they want. They decide against it. The wave's pushing into tower, and Inax can't give up more CS to Caps.
So, in the current version of Cassio, Emax is the most common, and you can see that it offers a lot in terms of trading. That's why he was able to turn it around. If he'd had 1 extra point in his queue, that would have been a kill onto Jankos. And props to Perks for landing that route, because if he didn't, again, would have been a dead jungler. But this is why I think Cassio is a really good pick in this situation, because against a lot of high mobility champions like the Ryze and the Lee Sin, things like the Miasma heavily mitigate your ability to disengage. And so if you don't one-shot that Cassio in the initial setup, then that's it.
Yeah.
You trying to run away, not going to happen. Jankos got very lucky there. And Schalke, though, holding on to that 1k gold lead for now.
We'll see if they can maintain it. G2 have had some weak early games across the course of the split, especially in week 1. They fell behind, I think it was an average of 1.5k at the 15-minute mark, and then between 15 and 20, they really started to up the tempo, up the pace. With a pick like Ryze, with a pick like Aphelios, you know they still have good damage when it comes to late-game teamfights, or even if they want to look for a split push. Now, Jankos stealing away the red, already stolen away that first rotation blue. You can see he's developing a level advantage over Lurox.
Certainly is. Stealing away the red, very valuable, but I'm kind of keeping track of summoner spells now because Abadage's flash is gone. Perks' will be up soon. He wants to get that level 6.
Advantage.
Yeah, again. But Perks died in a huge minion wave, which cost him so much experience. He should be getting level 6 soon. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, Jankos and Caps just hitting level 6. Perks now going to hit level 6 as well. So he's going to have that Realm Warp. He's going to have that extra bit of damage. But Dragon is going to be the focus for Schalke right now. They don't have priority bot. Caps and Perks is going to look to reset, spend some of the gold. Let's have a look at what Caps picks up. Did he have enough money for the BF sword?
Caulfield's.
Looks like that it's not enough for now. Just going to grab the boots.
Okay, so Jankos playing top side of the map. There's Infernal Dragon.
I like the fact that he goes for Rift Herald because he knows that given his bot has just reset, he can't contest for Drake, and his mid can't guarantee priority anymore. Especially seeing as how strong Abadage is. So just trade it for that neutral, and you can use it to try and get some more gold back on the map.
S04 Lorbox is he's a whole level behind now. Inax only just ticking over to 6. A lot of that experience advantage is sitting, as you say, on the Cassio in the mid lane for Schalke. He's the one who is ahead right now. Schalke will trade the Rift Herald for an Infernal, knowing that Jankos is not on this side of the map. And we haven't really talked around top lane because not really much has happened. Odo did have an early lead, but Wonder's been able to eat back at that gold and CS disadvantage that he had, and now it's pretty much on as even up here.
Curious as to what Perks' itemization is going to look like, because if I remember correctly, Seraphs and Rod are not upgradable items for the Ornn.
That's correct. You are correct.
Yeah, which means that he may look to prioritize an early Zhonya's, or he may go for an early Death Cap. Right now, he's just sitting on the tier. He may forego the Rod of Ages and just instead prioritize one of the more upgradable Ornn items, or instead, Caps will, they'll focus on getting Caps the Infinity Edge, then upgrade that, and then Perks will go for something like a third item Death Cap as he looks for a roam top lane with Jankos.
Here we go, Realm Warp coming in. Odo pops the World Ender, fears away the minions, but here's the call of the Forge God. Wonder tanking it up, Perks has to flash away straight away, and Odo flashes as well. Abadarge's on the chase, Jankos so low, doesn't have the flash. All you have to do is hit one Noxious Blast and you can get this chase off. Jankos, where you gonna go? Hiding in the alcove, trying to do a little bit of peekaboo, but Abadage says, I found you. Odo gets the kill. And Schalke, well then, dry null right now over G2.
And it's another great TP from Abadage. Perks tried to force that play in the top lane, but they didn't do it before that summoner spell was available, and the counter came through once again. G2 are trying to force these dives, trying to get themselves an early advantage, thinking about the scaling options that Schalke have, and they're faltering. It was Perks that took the tower aggro initially. In an ideal world, they want Wonder to take that tower aggro, but because of a good flash from Odoamne, Ryze is then forced to flash. Abadage is able to cut the escape route off of Jankos. He ends up going down to Odo, and Schalke find themselves with a gold lead. Many jokes were made on social media, online, about Schalke has to surely beat G2. Well, right now, they're making that a reality. Really good counter ganks from Abadage, mitigating a lot of the early game aggression that G2 is trying to implement. And again, I think the comps are pretty close. You know, when we think about the late game, G2 definitely going to look to try and utilize this Ryze in a side lane. But if you try to team fight this Schalke comp, the Gragas disengage, the amount of DPS that the Cassio can throw out, the poke that's going to come from this Ezreal, it's pretty potent. Yeah. So I feel like if Schalke hold on to this kind of gold lead and they get this Cassio ramping up, they're going to be in a great spot.
Credit as well to Inax in the bottom lane. We saw about a 15 CS lead develop there for Caps, depending on where the wave state was with that freeze. Inax has been able to close that up. Of course, having the Sheen building up has helped him here, and now G2 continue towards the top lane. Mickey burnt a flash for that. Wasn't able to find it. Caps teleported in. Where's Jankos? He's got the Rift Herald, but he's not close enough to this turret yet to push in. True Shot Barrage is going to come out and clear out those minions you have to feel, while Inax and Dreams push out the bottom lane. There's the True Shot Barrage. But, okay, so Jankos is here in time to put down the Rift Herald, which means G2 will secure first turret here, because the Rift Herald will charge in and do the true damage.
Yep. And they should, yes, as you rightly said, just be able to clear through that one. Caps is now going to utilize the fact that the true damage will come through.
And they're putting the gold on Caps. Yep. 570, you saw it pop up there.
TP going to come through from Wonder as well, so he's going to try and hold on to that tower, and they should be able to get a second strike. But look in the mid lane, see what Schalke's doing. You can notice that they're trying to push in that wave, secure some plates for themselves, as G2 is spreading their resources up towards the top side of the map. They actually secure another tower, and all of a sudden the gold gap is closed. So great utilization there by G2 of the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Caps is sitting on 1,500 gold right now. He's actually 200 gold ahead of Inax, even though they're on the same CS, and Inax got 2 kills.
Power plates, baby. A lot of investment into Caps. Hasn't died yet this game. Definitely an improvement from yesterday.
It's got 3 minutes to get 7 deaths if you want to match
Jankos.
last game. Jankos jumping in, dodges away from the miasma, and Mickey's there with the root. Jankos gets his first kill on the board.
Yeah, Jankos invested everything into that one. That one felt personal. It was a war jump into flash. He wanted to avoid the miasma as quickly as possible. to try and prevent Abadage from interrupting the mobility of the Lee Sin. He's also sidestepped the Petrifying Gaze, and with Mickey's arrival, it was a clean kill. So G2 get onto the board, and now all of a sudden, they're the team that sits with a 1k gold lead.
How quickly things can change with a good Rift Herald play up towards that top lane. Manamune stacking up now for Inax. He's just completed it. And he is matching into the Essence Reaver from Caps. There's a Cloud Drake up in 20 seconds time. Perks, we saw Rise in the side lane in the last game. Perks is already off towards a side. He's gone Mercury Treads into, it looks like the Rod of Ages, and the Seraph is going to be the build. Does, as you say, delay his ability to get an ornament, one of those Orn upgrades, but it's okay if Caps can get one. Maybe you see Jankos going for a Black Cleaver as well, and that's 2, and then by that point you're looking at the 3rd completed item for Perks.
I mean, in an ideal world, you don't want to upgrade a Black Cleaver early on.
I agree, but if there's nothing else to upgrade...
Yes. Well, in any case, you imagine the Caps is going to prioritize getting the Infinity Edge now, as G2 look to secure the Cloud Drake. I think that for an Ornn, Cloud Drake is pretty valuable, so definitely a decent pickup, but we're going to see Ocean. I think Ocean is probably one of the strongest Drakes. The Ocean Soul, I think, is so good.
It's really strong.
The mana regeneration that you get in team fights is just redonkulous.
And the mana you get back as well, especially for something like a Rise. If you're in a team fight, you're rattling out those spells. You can run low on mana if it continues for too long. Now, we see the bot laners in the mid lane, matching up against each other. Abadage still with a level advantage, or some of a level, over...
Perks also has no AP yet. He's only built mana. Lorox utilizing the bush, but they see him.
Yeah, the Lorox at home in the jungle, but has to go Golden Dreams coming in. There's a true shot barrage, but Jankos is actually knocked out of it. Abadage should be able to chase down Jankos. He's dead. A good counter fight here from Schalke. Caps coming in, but Schalke able to get one and get out.
Okay, I thought it was going to be disaster for Schalke initially, but good stopwatch from Lorox actually buys enough time for Inax to rotate round alongside Dreams, and they're actually able to get another kill down onto Jankos. Schalke going to convert this into their first tower of the game, keeping the gold very even. Based on what we heard from G2 this morning on social media, you know, they were going to come in, they were going to release their vengeance on Schalke, but Schalke have been there at every single turn. Every play that G2 have tried to make, they have countered. And they've kept this game very even for the time being.
Yeah, for the first 15 minutes, we've been neck and neck. We'll have another look at this, because Lorox is on a ward.
Yes. The collapse is coming through from G2. Aphelios is still in mid lane though. Meanwhile, Dreams and Inax are already making the rotation over. They then interrupt Jankos. Yes, he gets knocked out from the ultimate from Inax, but all they're really doing is setting up for the kill onto Abadage, who's like, oh yeah, I haven't had a kill yet. Why not give me one? So he ends up securing that.
However, G2 are going to secure the Rift Herald off the back of resets from Schalke. Looks like Inax, Dreams, and Lorox decided to back away after getting that first turret in the top lane. Odoamne chipping away at this bottom one, is almost taking that down as well. So Schalke looking for their second tower of the game. And with still 3 minutes on the Ocean Dragon, I was wondering why all of Schalke were coming down towards this bottom side. That Dragon's still a while away.
Someone needs to go catch the top wave. Odoamne is probably going to reset right now. He probably doesn't want to lane up against the Rise. Rise is getting to a point where he gets pretty difficult to deal with in the 1 versus 1, and there's not a huge amount of magic resistance on the side of Odo just yet. Bit of a heal going to come out from Wonder, I think. Yes, Wonder with the Unsealed Spellbook. Heal up Caps a little bit. Not that I think it was super necessary. They want to see if they can dive onto Odoamne right now, but of course he's already gone. Oh, they actually sent Abadage up towards the top lane.
You can funnel some CS onto that Cassio. Dreams going in, but good Bellows Breath from Wonder. He's going to get pulled back. Able to dodge away from that with a charge. And now Perks is just on this turret by himself. Jankos is around the corner. Odo could try and chase him down here. He's going to pop the World Ender, looking to fear away the minions, but Perks able to root him up with the Rune Prison, and it becomes very hard for Schalke to chase down someone like Perks unless you have Dreams there as your primary engage, or Lorox as well.
If Wonder wasn't there, I think Odoamne could have killed him. Or at the very least burned a flash from Perks. I think he didn't take a great trade because he was stuck underneath the tower, and I thought the Drake was actually going to spawn sooner, which would have been way worse for G2, but still a minute and a half. So they can actually send Caps to catch the top wave if they want to, given that he does have the TP. Ooh, actually, I think that because they have enough time, the Drake is over a minute away. They can just have Rise catch that top farm, and he should be able to push it out fast enough that he can then also still rotate down to be there in time for the Drake.
I'm a little bit surprised by Caps going rapid fire cannon second here. I'm going to be honest, because Wonder's only a level away from being able to get the upgrades off. Lorux coming for the gank on towards that Ornn in the bottom lane. Dreams is on his way as well. Wonder still has the flash. Infernal Chains will pull him back. There's the barrel, but that's the flash. But Odo could just chase him down. And Odo will secure his second kill of the game. Now, the rest of G2 are in mid lane pushing in. There's no wave there. However, there is a Rift Herald, and that acts as a pretty gargantuan wave if you can pop it down.
But good pick coming out from Schalke. They extend the kills to 5. They have their eyes set on the tier 2 in the bot lane as well. Ultimate going to come out to try and thin the wave.
Ooh, keep going in. Sonic Wave's going to land. Here comes the teleport. Seraphs will keep Abadage alive for just a moment longer, and now Odo1 needs to dodge away. Dreams is here to act as a bit of a bodyguard, but even with the Infernal Chains, you can see Jankos jumping forward, jumping back. Will dodge out of the fight. Odo1.
It's still alive, though.
The Rift Herald. Get another charge in, as you say. Lorux coming in. Caps. Oh, the TP. It's onto a minion. They're looking for the hard push here. G2, 5 men strong, pushing in the mid lane. They know Abadage is still dead, but they decide to stop at the tier 2.
Okay, so overall, G2 still do come out on top. A couple of summoner spells were burnt from both sides, but it all started with a pick coming out from Schalke in the bot lane, finding that kill onto Wonder. G2 then answer with a pick onto Abadage in the mid lane, and then a lot of TPs, a lot of summoner spells.
I think Schalke want to fight this.
Yeah,
Dreams
looks like
the Caps. Caps flashes away. Ocean Dragon down to below 900. Wonder caught off by the rest of Schalke. He's going to be that front line with the call of the Forge God, but he's dead. Lorux looking for the chase on Perks, but can't find his man. However, Perks doesn't have Realm Warp. All of Schalke run for this. Dreams has flash soon. Jankos and Mickey are here. Lorux going to flash in. Perks, you can't 1v5, my man. He's shut down. And Schalke may just repay G2's push in the mid lane with a push in bot themselves.
They have 5 people bot, which means with a wave, they can easily secure this. And there's no tier 2 tower in mid for Caps to trade it for, but at the very least, it's farm that's being wasted.
Yeah.
But G2, like, they're coming out short here. Schalke now reclaim the goal lead. Very tense game between the two teams. So this is where everything started. The exhaust gets used from Wonder. He has that from the Unsealed Spellbook, and then Lorux comes in with the Predator. Good use of the ultimate as well to prevent Wonder from being able to flash out. The flash is a little bit too late, but we might not have time for this because the Baron is actually being started. It's being two-manned right now.
They've got it. Lorux is doing Razor Beaks. He has no idea this is happening. You have to respect the Crescendum Calibrum combination on Caps. He's only at 2 items, but they sneak away the Baron at 20 minutes, 20 seconds.
Damn, just Aphelios things. He cleared that so quickly, utilizing the chakrams. I'm not quite sure, like, hopefully we can get a bit of a pimp and see how he stacked all those chakrams up, because the thing about that, the chakrams is the more you have, the more DPS you do, and the closer you stand, the faster your attack speed as well, because your next order will come out as the chakrams return to you. So the difficult part when doing the Baron is actually being able to stack up all those chakrams, and one of the easiest ways is utilizing Severum, but I'm not sure which weapons he had available to him. Either way, I think all 5 members of G2 now have the Baron. The gold is still very even, and at the very least, G2 can use this as a stall tactic, but they may not need to, because Seraphs and Rod of Ages are now done for Perks. Who's going to get the upgraded? No one is.
No,
okay.
no one. No one has an
level
upgraded
13. Yeah, no one's going to get that upgrade. Inefficient itemization coming out from G2. We thought that Caps would rush the Infinity Edge.
I mean, even Mickey, we sometimes see people go for Locket first, so you can get the Circlet upgrade, but he's going towards the Gargoyle with Stoneplate. Now, Schalke are the team on the front foot. They're pushing through mid. Perks is by himself in a side lane. Dream's trying to go in, but a good chance for Mickey will stop him. They're looking for Caps. They know he's got no flash, but Schalke can't find their connections. Inax flashes away, knowing that the chase was on.
He's scared of the root from the Gravitum.
Perks is still in top. Perks has Realm Warp. He can take those minions into the inhib. As soon as he clears that way, he's doing it straight away. We've seen this so many times. Perks on rise.
Wait, he missed the minions!
Oh, okay. Okay, Perks, that's fine. We forgive you one.
He's still top lane, though. He has the push.
He definitely does. Schalke trying to defend mid lane inhib at the same time now. They're going to lose one. You have to feel Perks on the inhib tower. Odo1 is going to try and answer him. The inhib doesn't quite go down. That turret manages to survive. Perks no Realm Warp now. Lorux could chase him down, but decides against it. And you really could be forgiven for thinking that this was a game between our 2 top teams, because Schalke have been able to keep abreast of G2. They've made a couple of mistakes, some positioning errors, as we saw there, but they are not playing like a 0-7 team with Inax in the squad now. Here comes Lorux.
Perks has no
flash.
ult.
Here we go. No Predator available for Lorux. No flash on him either. No ult on Perks. Odoamne's popped the ult, doesn't sell. There's the cast, knocks him back. Dreams on the chase as well.
He can outplay this.
He can outplay it, but Dreams with the flash in, the Seraph's the body bop, and Perks goes golden, but you're only delaying your own demise there. Perks, true shot barrage. Inax, the replacement AD carry, lands it from long range.
It still took 4 people from Schalke to actually find that kill, and G2 were able to push in mid and push in bot. They should be able to convert this into a tower, so props to Perks for stalling out. But still, he ends up going down. Schalke now responding. Can they keep this tower alive?
So Odoamne just kept up with the push in that top lane.
Yes.
There is an Ocean Dragon in 50 seconds. It won't be a soul point for either teams. We're sitting at 2-1 in favor of G2. Mickey hooks away. Dreams unable to connect with the knockup from the grand entrance, but Yanko's going to blast cone away. G2 disengage, retreat. 40 seconds on the Dragon. Inax has a lot of damage right now. Abadage went Rylai's second item on this Cassio. Looks like he's building up towards the Leandries as the third.
Very potent item.
Okay,
I wonder what item Perks is going for next.
Void?
Is he gonna... But what magic resistance? Anyway, I'll talk about that in a second. I want to give props to Schalke for actually setting up a pretty good engage on the mid lane. While the engage didn't work out, that's one of the more proactive plays we've ever actually seen from Schalke. The fact that they had Dreams on the Rakan with Lurok's follow-up and a good flank from Odoamne, while the play didn't pan out, it's promising to see this kind of decision-making from Schalke. We've heard from Odoamne where often it feels like they're not on the same page, they're not willing to commit to fights, and while they are being moved around the map quite a lot by G2, the fact that they tried to force that fight is definitely an encouraging sign for the squad.
Minion wave there. Perks has realm warped them forward in the top lane. Once again, G2 going for the same play.
Look at the positioning of G2 right now. Notice how they kind of cut off the route so that you cannot access the top half of the jungle. They force you to take the long way around as a fight kicks off.
Dreams looking to go in. Jankos uses the Dragon's Rage to disengage. The turret survives. Abadaga is pushing in the bot lane by himself. He didn't have TP. He was never going to be able to join a fight if it began. But now, G2 realize they have to respond to this pressure.
Again, the game is extremely close, 25 minutes in.
I'm loving it.
We do another item check-in. Yeah, well, also just have a look at the gold difference. You can see how fluctuating up and down this has gone. The big spike there where G2, that's when they got the Baron. The Baron's now spawning in a minute's time. Schalke is should be way more aware of it, but I once again want to draw your attention back towards the minimap. You'll notice, as we can see, all of this vision being invested towards the top side. We have a ward near the red buff. We have a ward just outside the pit, and all this vision control will make it hard for Schalke to be able to reliably control this objective, which G2 want to try and maintain.
Got to sweep that away. Lurux has a sweeper. Dreams, his is on cooldown. About half of that timer left. Infinity Edge finished, upgraded on Caps. Black Cleaver finished, upgraded on Jankos. Molten Edge and Obsidian Edge for anyone keeping score of the names at home. G2 maybe playing down towards bot. Realm Warp, quarter of its cooldown left. Lurux spotted out. And do you want to give credit to Odoamne and Abadage keeping up in levels? Perks is 16, but Abadage on his way up towards that. Odo a level ahead of Wonder. Still, you have to feel that the game rests on a knife edge, and in a situation like this, the odds are on G2. Perks. Infernal Chains did connect, but Odoamne forced back by Jankos. Here comes Abadage. True Shot Barrage going to connect as well. Abadage goes in. The Miasma. Jankos flashes away, but he can't survive. He only used the kick, didn't even flash. Mickey, knock back. Wonder, knock back. Schalke find the fight they were looking for. And I said the odds were on G2, but Schalke don't give a damn about the odds. They take 2 in the river, and they can turn towards the Baron.
And another great play coming out from Schalke, the initiation that they were looking for. It was Perks that was a little overextended.
He's TPing in. Oh, G2. Oh, G2. Oh, come on.
Wait, but he doesn't have a minion wave yet. It looks like he's just trying to solo it anyway.
What? Okay, TP coming back. Who is this who's coming to the fight? It's Odo.
Does Orn have Smite? No.
No, he does not have Smite. Okay, so Schalke should get the Baron. Odo will then have Baroned up minions to defend versus Caps and Perks.
So G2 just trade for the time being. They're going to open up the mid inhibitor. They're going to take the tier 2.
Oh, TP behind them.
Oh, they're looking for the collapse.
This is proactive. I love this from Schalke. They're going for the fight. Oh, and that shows straight into Caps. Oh, he dodges the Moonlight Vigil as well. Caps goes gold, and Abadage here with the TP as well. And there's one. Perks, you're caught in no man's land. You're caught in the river. Schalke find 2. They're 12 kills to 2 up Vedius at the 27-minute mark. They have Baron. They can now push in and look to break open the base of G2.
Fortunately for Schalke, they have a minion wave in mid, because if you look at top and bot, it's not going in their favor. G2 are so obnoxious when it comes to managing their side waves, but 3-man strong in the mid lane. They have the empowered cannon minions. They're looking to crack the base open. 20 seconds still left on Perks. The wave clear doesn't exist. Schalke currently hold the game control against G2.
Did Misfits break G2 yesterday? The answer is probably no. They'll probably come back next week and show us just why they are the best team in Europe.
I mean,
Schalke.
you can't say that right now, Minute, because look at them. Schalke is pushing them around, and Hip goes down, fight starts.
Gordon Forge coming out. Dreams only charms up. Mickey Dreams gets knocked up. Here comes the Realm Warp as well, as Rise is going to join the fight. You can see the damage coming out. Abadage lands the Petrifying Gaze, but doesn't really stun anyone. Perks didn't get in with the Realm Warp. Not sure why he wasn't there. Schalke have lost one, but they break open the inhib. Super Minions now pushing in mid. Schalke have a 3,500 gold lead.
Woo. Well played by Schalke. Big utilization of the Baron buff, a very solid gold advantage over their lane counterparts. The Morello Nomicon being completed by Perks.
I mean, Aatrox and Cassio do have a huge amount of healing.
I mean, yes.
I'm not saying it's the right item. I'm saying perhaps.
I mean, that's probably what he's thinking with the Conqueror combined with the Cassio as well. The lifesteal definitely means the trading is harder. That's got to be his logic when it comes to his itemization, but again, you're not taking advantage of Wonder's upgrades on the Ornn. You imagine he has to be going for a Zhonya's or a Death Cap soon. But in any case, moving aside from that, Schalke have had so much control in this game. The biggest problem they've had to deal with is how G2 have controlled the side lanes, but they've been finding excellent fights. Inax right now, 5-0-5. He has been impossible to lock down, and G2, right now, it feels like that they just can't team fight, or at least they haven't been able to find a good one yet. Lorix's Gragas just offers so much more than Jankos does. Every time he tries to go in, people are jumping out. The Cassio W comes through. It's too difficult for him to play the game right now, so you're relying on Perks to be able to have control over the side wave, but if Abadage is there, he's just stopping him in his tracks.
Now Schalke, oh, Lorix face checks. Call of the Forge God comes out, should be able to lock him up. Oh, a nice little body dodge away. Lorix doesn't have flash, but G2 hesitant to go in. Realm Warp used here. They're trying to catch Abadage out. They all get in, but the Petrifying Gaze does land. Here comes Dreams from the side. Abadage still alive, still surviving. Inax doing the damage from the back in the bush. You can see it coming out, but oh, the Infernum! Schalke burn down Inax and Odo. It's up to you in a 4v2. Can you do it? Odo, after saying how disappointed he has been in the last few weeks, this could be the moment to step up for your team.
They can do it. They can definitely do it. Look at G2 start to split. They need to stay together if they want to stand a chance against this two-man from Schalke.
Jumps forward. Oh, Jankos gets the kickback. Too much, a little bit too hyphy there for Minax. You have to feel, and now Odo has to run, has to walk with his tail between his legs back up to his base.
Damn. Whew. Inax definitely feeling himself there, but Jankos just straight up kicks him in the face into the team of G2, and G2 find their best team fight of the game so far. They get that collapse on the bot side of the map. They get a lot of shutdown gold as well. You'll see that they've immediately equalized the gold against Schalke, and the crowd is starting to erupt. I don't think anyone was expecting the game to be this close.
Oh, no, I was not, Vedius.
But the Baron spawns in 2 minutes. That's going to be a massive point of contention.
Third Baron of the game.
All right, let's see what happens. So, Lorix getting some deep vision. The problem is he doesn't have proper push in bot, and he has no push in mid. So he does have support from his team though, and a good Zhonya's keeps him alive. The Q here landing from Jankos, he says, actually I think we can go for this because Abadage is split off from the rest of his team, and Odo isn't here yet with no TP. The Petrifying Gaze I think only lands onto a single member, and then they're able to get that collapse with the ultimate coming out on top from Caps. Inax doing what damage he can from the backline. No one is really touching him, but the front line is just dying too quickly, and then we get to see the 2 versus 4. It looks pretty promising for Schalke. If G2 had split up, you're thinking that's the moment, and that's what Inax is thinking as well. He sees Jankos split from the group, but then a great flash kick here is what keeps Jankos alive and allows the kill to come through for G2. Perkz gets that massive shutdown onto Inax. He's now completed the Void Staff, and the Ocean Drake spawns in 2 minutes. Schalke want this to get themselves the Ocean Soul. Very valuable upgrade.
You can see Schalke all playing down towards this bottom side of the map. They don't really have any deep vision, but they are trying to clear out what little vision G2 had. And as you said earlier, Vedius, no one expected this. No one could have thought this would be the case, because there's no troll draft here from G2. You can't even say there's a Soraka or a Sona pick or something. There is no excuse that G2 could rest on if they lose this game, only to say Schalke were better. Schalke was superior on the day. Now, Perkz is realm warping forward once again in that bottom lane, but Odoamne there to react, there to understand.
Yeah, but I don't think Odoamne can hold him anymore, because Ryze only gets stronger into this point in the game, whereas the Aatrox starts to kind of plateau off. Looks like he's going for a GA, and he's getting some good trades, but...
flashing forward, trying to get
as I say that.
Odo can do this. Perkz doesn't have flash. Perkz has no way out.
He just solo kills him. Odoamne he just sits me right down, straight up obliterates Perkz on the rise, and now Schalke want to go for the fight.
There's a reason Odo has been in 9 of the 10 playoffs in splits he has competed in, because he can do stuff like this. Already killed Perkz, now they get Mickey.
The Raptors screwed Mickey. He couldn't use his Q because the Raptors were in the way. Now with Baron alive again, Schalke find another perfect pick, and it's on to Perkz once more. Perkz in a side lane. That's the third time this game that he has been caught out. And Schalke have been able to convert it into something. Back and forth is what we've seen from this game, but that might be the final nail in the coffin unless Caps can find another backdoor.
Inax knew this was happening. Inax was basing before
he has teleport as well.
He has teleport. He can join back Caps. Can you win the 1v1? Can Jankos get the steal? G2 on their last legs here. You have to feel Jankos going to have to blast Cone away. Dreams jumps forward. Caps and Inax still trading in that bottom lane. Jankos stepping forth, Caps going for the inhib, Jankos having to run away, and Aberage and Lorbox will be able to take this. Caps is on the inhib, he will get that, so it's a Baron for inhib trade. Inax didn't want to go for the pure 1v1, but maybe he can chase now.
My god, just look at the minimap. You can see how obnoxious G2 is to play against. Bot is pushing, mid is pushing, top is pushing. This should have been Schalke's control of the map.
Into mid.
They're TPing. What are they looking for?
Into mid.
They're looking for the collapse onto Caps and Wonder.
There,
no TP is available on Caps. What's Perkz doing?
Yeah,
Perkz is backdooring.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, he's the one TP. I thought you were talking about Schalke. Schalke's flanking with the TP.
There's too many TPs in this game.
Okay, Ocean Drake is alive. This is what Schalke's after. They have their eyes on Caps. 5 people from Schalke are now on the Drake. What is Ryze looking to do?
So he doesn't have Baron, of course, because that's gone over to Schalke. But Jankos, they found him out.
He's dead.
Flying away. The Call of Force.
That's a lot of damage.
Inax is done. The fire.
Aberage
gets the petrifying gaze, and the Ocean Soul goes over to Schalke. And now they're looking for more. Mickey's going to try and act as a disruption because Perkz is still pushing in the top lane. That's another. Now they're back. They've got the Baron recalls, but Perkz is going to get 2 inhibs from this. They get them. This is why G2 are so hard to play against Vedius. They take every little thing away from you.
That should have been the game right there. It should be game over. And maybe it is. Aberage.
He missed the Noxious Blast. He missed his Q. But the Conqueror stacking up. Perkz decided not to go any further. Odo on the chase with the
gotta run. Odo wants him. Woo! Okay, so Schalke get the Ocean Soul. How did they see Jankos? This is my question.
They didn't. They just expected it.
Oh, we get some information. Thank you, observers. So they see him coming over the wall, and that's how they get that kill onto him. Then the ultimate comes down from Caps and just blows up Inax, and you think, oh, maybe G2 can turn this around, but then Aberage in the bush, the snake lying in wait, lands the petrifying gaze onto 2 members, melts through the AD carries, and with no Ryze there's no DPS. But you're thinking, okay, surely Aberage and the squad can now go end the game, but look at the base! The base is in control of G2. They've taken down 2 inhibitors. And Schalke they can't end. G2 is making their life so difficult.
Look at the damage coming out from Perkz on Inax. Okay, so Inax is at 4 completed items. Caps is at 4.5 with the Executioner's calling. Rabadon's on its way for Aberage. Void stuff complete.
I really feel like Perkz should just get a death cap.
He's not going to do it. He's going to get Zonya's Odo now. Straight into Mickey and Caps. Now he's got the World Ender, and TP's coming in behind from Inax. Caps, look at the damage. Odo just shredding through him, but Jankos has found Inax. Caps just about survives. Inax able to get across. Jankos trying to chase him down. Caps is going to go down. Inax just wins the 1v1 versus Jankos. Mickey's going to fall as well. Where's Rise? That's always the question you have to ask here, because Perks is splitting in the side lane again, Vedius. They have super minions pushing in that mid lane and in the bottom lane, and Perks has one here.
Odo Omne is going to deal with him. Schalke have a wave that they can actually use this time around. Wonder doing what he can to interrupt, but those are 40-second death timers. Medic, I think this might be it. Schalke have everything they need to finally break into the base and maybe even just end the game.
Imagine your first win of the split after you've subbed your jungler, after you've subbed your AD carry, being against G2, who until this week were undefeated. We heard them say it on the desk. G2 and Schalke had the same win rate in week 4. Now Schalke are going to have a better one if they can take this game. How long have we got? 12 on Caps, 6 on Mickey. Dreams jumping in, but he's rooted underneath the turret. Bellows Breath from Wonder won't do too much, but Perks is rattling out the damage and rattling out the spells. Piece by piece, Schalke are breaking the base. Inax pops them. Oh, no, it's just a weird little visual bug there on Inax.
Wonder going to use the heal, I think. He's going to use it from the Unseal spellbook. They did have Lorox lying in wait. Bot wave is pushing. There are super minions in favor of G2. The Elder Drake spawns in 3 minutes. The Baron has worn out. Everyone is pretty much full build right now.
Just go for it. Go on, Dreams.
Oh, Schalke,
go on, Dreams.
they're looking.
Oh. No quickness on Dreams does make it a lot harder to find those connections. No flash on him either.
Can we just appreciate Schalke has 22
Yes,
kills
that.
against G2? Like, they have just straight up massacred them. The problem is G2 has played the side lane so well and so obnoxiously that it has been so difficult for Schalke to convert all these kills, all these one-team fights into actual control. But now they've finally done it. 2 inhibs are down. G2 will be forced to play on the defense, which means that they either have to go for a good fight or they need to find some kind of crazy backdoor. Either way, Schalke is in full control. The Death Cap finally comes through for Perks. It has been upgraded.
The Death Crown there on Perks. Perhaps the moment that G2 needed, but Schalke now pushing up, clearing out the vision with a 14-kill lead. 8 towers to 9, 5,000 gold ahead. Schalke are knocking on the door of their first win here in 2020. Caps 94 CS ahead of Inax. Jankos jumping in, but no one really there to threaten. 50 CS lead for Perks in the mid lane, but now we're getting towards, as you say, complete builds. Basically on either side. There's a minute and a half on the Elder. Odo's come back. Last time he dealt with Perks in the 1v1. Perks still no flash. Odo has his.
I mean, Odo is full build, and he is a monster. Honestly, I'm used to Rises just 1v1ing everyone, but Odo has just been playing this so well. 6-0 and 8 right now. We talked about how he as a player has kind of been one of the shining stars for Schalke, but he is really stepping up. Him, Abadage have played this game extremely well, and now they're in a position to take down G2.
What a transformation for Schalke from last week to this. Inax coming in as well, really. I mean, he's 8-2-9 against Caps and against Mickey and against Perks. He's having a game of his life.
And Schalke have been so aggressive this game. It's such a big difference from what we saw from them before. They're looking for another fight. Dreams on the flank. Okay, I'm going to go for it, though. 5 seconds. The Baron is spawning. They're going to melt through this with the Cassio. They're going to start it off.
Here we go. Baron.
Here they go, the split push coming through.
Warp's already been used by Rise. He has got TP as well, just in a second if he's going to get back to this fight. But already the Baron's down to 4,000. Call of the Portugal coming out. Dreams distracting Jankos. That should be Baron. G2 unable to fight against it, but Rise is still pushing in the side lane. Now G2 disengaged.
That's huge damage from Caps. They just have to keep them here. Look at Inax.
Rise there though. Inax, can you get back? He's going to go.
The TP.
He's TPing. It's Odo. He's going to get back. Just about in time.
He's back.
Inax is back as well. Now Perks, he's caught in no man's land between 2 people.
The TP coming through.
It's Odo who's going to join the fight. It's Wonder. They're all coming in. The Nexus Tower's the target. Inax going to open up on Wonder now as Perks steps forward. Odo on the chase. No flash for him, but the Infernal Chase. Lorox flashes in. G2
the TP. Look at that. G2's base.
Abadage's in the base. Abadage's in the base. And G2 tried it, but Schalke slammed the door in their face. Mickey coming forward. Caps there as well. I don't know if Abdaga can finish this by himself. The Nexus Tower has to be the target, and the Super Minions are pushing in. Dream's now here as well to join in the fray. 3 members of G2 trying to defend, trying to save the game, but Jankos is done. Mickey is going to go down next as well as Abdaga. It's Dreams, Schalke, who better to beat for your first win of 2020 than the reigning champions. Schalke with the 2 substitutions. Schalke no longer 0-6. Now they have a win.
Schalke find their first win of the split, and it is against G2 Esports. And there are no excuses for G2. You can't blame it on draft. You don't get to use that anymore. There's no Garens, there's no Sonas. They just got outplayed. Beautiful TPs to interrupt the tower dives coming from G2 in the early game. Great teamfight execution from Schalke. There was not enough threat onto Inax or the backline that meant that they could just keep at arm's length against G2. G2 did not make this game easy for them whatsoever.
God, no.
But you know, we criticized Caps yesterday. I feel like Perks got caught out on a side lane so often, and Odo Wamne is just really having the